All right. It is Lambo's World of Sports featuring Sideline Sports Network featuring the Big Brother. Like I said, this is tradition for this week because the Cowboys and the Patriots do play each other on the first day of October. Like I said, it's fall. It's officially hoodie season, by the way, because hoodies is great. We love hoodies, all right, to keep you warm and all that other stuff. But this is going to be tradition going forward, all right, or for this week in general. We may do that later. But we're going to be talking about college football. This is a big noon kickoff that I look forward to. All right. USC versus Colorado has been talked about, I guess, since primetime Deion Sanders has gotten the job back in December when we talked about his hire to Colorado. I think it was a great hire. There's plenty of other potential places that Deion Sanders could have got hired to, like, USF and all these other stuff. But it's a different subject for later. But USC and Colorado, Lincoln Riley, Caleb Williams, the duo that they had at the University of Oklahoma is great. Caleb Williams, like I said, he won the Heisman last year. He's still on top to, I guess, win it again. I don't see why not. I don't know what the rules are about winning back-to-back Heismans, but I think this is a good team. That's not a team we're sleeping on. This defense isn't great. Now, Colorado's at home. They're coming off a 36-point loss, which he was obviously right that Oregon was the better team. Defensively, they surprised a lot of people. Colorado, like you said, the defensive line needs work. No Travis Hunter is not playing at all. The offense has to get off the fast starts because if they don't, USC is going to run them in the water. Now, the USC and I think Arizona State game was sort of close a little bit into the fourth quarter. Maybe it was a very close game. Arizona State competed despite them being a new team and a new rebuild. They have Oregon's offensive coordinator from last year, Kenny Dillingham, as the head coach for Arizona State. But in this pick, I'm going to pick Colorado to beat USC. It's at home. Now, I understand they have weaknesses. I understand, the offensive line needs work, but I'm not sold on the USC defense, like especially a Lincoln Riley team. I've never been sold on the defense. They can score points, but I think if Colorado can run the ball consistently, they can expose that because USC has got exposed. And within last year, I understand it's 4 games in, but against physical teams that can run the ball, they just don't know how to stop it. That's why Utah beat them twice last year. I'm not comparing Colorado to Utah. That's two different programs. But I feel like if Colorado can run the ball consistently or run the ball just enough, like I said, they got Dylan Edwards at running back. They can run the ball. And I feel like Colorado can go to a fast start. Colorado has a chance of winning. Now, this could be a high-scoring game. I don't believe any defense is going to stop him. I'll probably pick 48-45 Colorado because, it's Shador Sanders. He's the most accurate quarterback in college football. He's not better than Caleb Williams, but I'm going to take Colorado because, they're going to have that heart, and I don't see them losing 2 straight and getting blown out again.
Well, unfortunately, I'm going USC. I'm going 45-35. The line here in this game is another massive one, USC minus 21.5. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout like that, but I also said the same thing last week. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout, and it was. Now, they're obviously, unless the water boy from USC wants to talk shit about Deion, there's nothing out there right now that's making this game personal. So I don't, that. I think that really just added more fire to Oregon than it did Colorado. I don't know if you've seen any of the clips that came out, but Colorado was talking mad shit to the players before the game, on the field. They had a dude out there stomping on the logo. It was just, they were out there to disrespect them, and in their minds before the game started, they thought they were going to whoop their ass, and it didn't go that way. And I think it just added more fire to Oregon, which I kind of think had the same effect to Colorado State as well. Once all the shit talking started, which the Norvell did start that at Colorado State. I'm not saying it was Deion that started it, but once Norvell started it, they Colorado, took the bait, started talking mad shit, and rightfully so. They're a better team, but I think it lit a fire underneath the Colorado State players and their coach as well. So I don't know if the making it personal thing is, and being so public about it is the way to go, because it seems to just be lighting fires under the opponent's asses the entire, like in the two examples we've seen. So I'm not going to tell Dion not to, do what works for him, because obviously they're 2-1 or 3-1, excuse me. And they're a great team, and we've seen that. So I don't want to discount anything they're doing, but I don't know if USC is the team that they're going to turn it around when it comes to, being able to play top teams. And in this case, 2 weeks in a row, 2 Pac-12 teams. So this, I do think ultimately this is going to hurt, because I think that they had a chance to maybe, if a team slipped up, they had a chance to maybe make the Pac-12 championship. I really don't see it after this week. I think they're going to drop it by only 10 points. I don't think it's going to be 21, but I think USC, Oregon, and Utah are definitely the top 3 schools in the Pac-12. And then Washington is also very good as well with Michael Penix Jr. So it's unfortunate. I don't enjoy picking against Prime. I love everything that they're doing over there, but I just don't see anything in this game. Like, it's going to be high scoring. Both offenses are going to work. But, Caleb is better than him, better than Shedeur so far. Colorado has not shown us anything that they can run the ball well, minus like week 1 when Dylan Edwards went crazy. But like since then, he's averaging like under 3 yards a carry or something around there. So it's just, I just don't see it.
Well, I mean, you make some great points, and I'm not going to blame you for that. You make great points. I can't deny facts. Now, there's some things going on. As far as the Oregon coaches, they did have a lot of intel on the Colorado team. But like I said, I think they're making this more about going against Deion Sanders than going against Colorado, because I think there's a lot of jealousy going on for what primetime Deion Sanders is doing. And I think it goes back to, not to be racist, but white coaches and some black coaches are jealous as well. I feel like Jay Norvell's a little bit jealous because, all the talk of what Prime has done, and, he's turned around the program overnight. Everybody doubted him, it's impossible to win all these games by transferring the whole roster. Like I said, he's 3-1. But we hadn't seen Primetime, or somebody other than Primetime turn around the whole roster, unless it's like an Urban Meyer or, something like that can change the program in, one day, like he did with Ohio State when he got the job. But that's a different subject. He's not on Urban Meyer. So, primetime Deion Sanders, by the way, has been a coach for a very long time. I think he was the offensive coordinator in Shedeur's high school. I think it was called Trinity Christian or something in Texas. He was the offensive coordinator. And then, he's been coaching his sons forever. Now, that was behind the scenes stuff. So we didn't really know that until he coached Shedeur in high school. And then, of course, he coached 3 years at Jackson State. He's a great coach. I'm not denying that. But I feel like the jealousy is involved around all of college football. And I think Deion Sanders is great for college football. I like what he does. Or I can't hate on somebody that being successful. Like he says, he is primetime Deion Sanders. Not only that, but you can't tell him what confidence to have. I mean, just being around, not being around, I haven't been physically around him, but just being in their environment, like you can't tell him what he should and shouldn't say. I feel like they're taking that a lot more personal than it is. So I feel like it comes to a point where it's like the jealousy is involved, the commercials and stuff like that. Like I said, he has a commercial with Nick Saban, the Aflac commercial. So Nick Saban gave him a lot of praise. So I just feel like, it's a lot about being personal, because Deion Sanders is doing something that no other college coach has done. Now, they still need to recruit, obviously. But I want to get into detail of why he picked Colorado. Now, he picked Colorado because, he didn't want to go to a school that was already up there. Like, there was plenty of rumors of him going to Florida State, if they got rid of Mike Norvell. But Mike Norvell is doing great at Florida State, all right? He saved his job. Florida State is somewhat better and consistent now. He wanted to go to a program where he can, rebuild, all right? I think he's mentioned that in an interview with Undisputed, or maybe with 60 Minutes or something like that, that he wanted to go to a school where he can rebuild. Not only that, There was a potential job he could have got at University of South Florida. They would have played Alabama if he would have got the job. Now, the problem is when I explain the jealousy and all that stuff, and then when you explain, oh, it's personal, all this stuff, is because one, in Florida, you have Florida State, and Miami. All right, so you have those three schools, and he said it would be hard for him to get those kids in Florida because, you know, the other coaches would use stuff against him, like, oh, the Power Five thing and all this other stuff, you know, all extra detail related stuff when it comes to recruiting. They'll use the Power Five stuff against him and all this other stuff. They'll probably use the HBCU stuff against him and why he left and all this other stuff. But he said in Jackson State that they were, you know, doing funny money. They were talking about ticket sales that they never had. Jackson State was like, I guess, taking money. They was in a fraud situation. He's already mentioned that. They was doing something with fraud. And, you know, he did what he could at Jackson State. So I don't know why you thought he was going to be, you know, at Jackson State for 5 years, which I wasn't shocked. But I think my whole point is I just feel like ever since he left Jackson State, he's got a lot of praise, but he's got a lot of hate. But it's like you can only do so much. And in a time in life, you get elevated or you get fired. So he got elevated. He got a Power 5 job. You know, most coaches don't really get a Power 5 job, you know, out of an HBCU. That's pretty hard to do. It's all about connections. But he's primetime Deion Sanders. He can do whatever he wants. Like, he's been around coaching. He's been on NFL Network. Now he's at, you know, he's at Jackson State for 3 years. Now he's at Colorado. He's not going to the NFL. Let's stop the rumors of him going to the NFL. He's already said he ain't going to the NFL because the players that get paid more money don't have the passion that college players have. The passion just ain't there. So, Colorado, I respect Colorado. Like I said, I'm still sticking with my prediction to win 9 games. But it's not about beating Colorado. It's more about beating Deion Sanders and what he said against Oregon, oh, you better beat me now because it's the worst team we're going to have. So, it's not about being Colorado. It's about being Deion Sanders because of the hate and jealousy. Do you have any final words on that? And by the way, according to the matchup predictions, USC has 90% chance of winning. Colorado only has 10%.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. There's definitely jealousy from everyone we've seen, you know, speak out against him so far. And there's just bad people on Twitter in general. So like all the hate that's out there and stuff, like that's going to come regardless of who you are. As soon as you get into a position of success, people are going to start hating on you. And the unfortunate truth is in America at this point, like if you're a minority, if you're African-American, like more people online feel like it's okay to go and take a shot at you. So I hear everything you're saying. And it's completely accurate. It's sad that it's accurate, but it is. And, you know, at the end of the day, Deion is not the guy that's going to tuck his tail between his legs or anything. And, you know, neither are his boys on his team. So, you know, I've got faith in him for sure. He's got to, you know, get the recruiting numbers up a little bit, but we've talked about it. We think he'll flip some guys. But, you know, I think you hit on everything within that topic that you really needed to talk about.
All right. So, I mean, this will be a game to watch. It'll be great. The next episode we're going to talk about is more college football. Now, this game is on Friday night, by the way. All right. Utah versus Oregon State. I think MattPatt could twist the tables. I think he might go with Oregon State or he could go with Utah. Like I said, Utah is finding ways to win games. They still don't have Cam Rising, but you can't score 14 points up against Oregon State. I think Oregon State is a different team. They have DJ Uiagalelei, the Clemson transfer. He's played great so far, even though they lost to Washington State. Is a team to probably watch out for in the Pac-12 as far as a sleeper. We'll talk about that game next, but it's Lambo Sports, featuring the Big Brother, featuring Satellite Sports Network. We will catch you next 5 minutes talking Utah versus Oregon